Doesn't even stand up properly. Because he's got fucking weak ass pussy hind legs. Yeah. Some Emperor of Destruction. Ching ching ching. Ching ching. Piss off. Combiner Wars Liokaiser final review. Deathsaurus. Tell you a little story. I will talk about, in a bit of detail, what Victory as a series means to me. First happened across it, I got the G1 Metrodome box sets on DVD back in 2007. And there was a little pamphlet inside, a little leaflet that showed the headmaster's stuff, and I wasn't interested. But then, a few months later, I happened across Anime Central late at night, nothing else was on. They had Transformers Victory. And they had the Japanese dub, and then sometimes I'd have the Star TV dub. I don't bother with the Star TV dub because it's shit. Laughably shit. But I really enjoyed Victory as it was. I liked the stories. I liked the characters. Star Saber almost immediately became my second favourite Transformer of all time, because he had, to me, those leadership qualities, those values, those morals that Optimus Prime had, that hadn't been seen since Optimus Prime. Rodimus didn't have it. Fortress didn't really. He was kind of held back by, in the Headmaster series, the whole mind, body, physical, mental, emotional energies had to all be balanced to transform, which was an interesting concept. It just held him back as a leader because he was either always little or standard or a ship. Couldn't always unleash that full power. Jinrai was... At this point, I hadn't seen Master Force. I watched Victory and Anime Central, wanted to get the box sets, and I did. Watched through them all. Jinrai was okay. He was good. He was hindered by wearing Optimus Prime's skin, though, wasn't he? I don't think he fully became his own character. I mean, he did, but he didn't because the Star TV dub called him Optimus Prime. I think the Prime skin kind of stopped him from becoming his own character because he was always seen as a second-rate Optimus Prime. I didn't always look at him that way, but it was hard not to. So you bring in Star Saber, who's got this fucking epic transformation on a green grid. He turns into a robot, and a little robot is a brain master, and that little robot becomes the face of the medium robot, and then he combines with the rest of his fucking V-Star into this. And he has a big fucking sword. I love the Star Saber character. And he adopted a fucking human. He adopted a kid. Star Saber was a dad. And when I first got into Victory, my ex was pregnant with my son Bradley. So there was that whole thing that I could relate to him in a whole different way that I could the other Autobot leaders, even Optimus Prime, because Star Saber was a dad and I was dad in waiting. I am a dad now. And so that's one of the reasons I love Star Saber and one of the reasons I love Victory. Even this little kid, Jan, or Jean, or however you pronounce it, there's multiple different ways, apparently. he was okay because he was a decent little kid. He was one of the best human characters in Transformers. I think if I ranked my favorite the human characters in the Transformers stuff, I might do that actually. Jan would be up there because I like Jan as a character. He wasn't overbearing. He didn't get in the way too much. He was useful when he needed to be. He didn't cry like a fucking bitch like Daniel. That's another discussion for another day. And yeah, I like Jan. But a hero is only as good as his villain. And it's why God Jinrai succeeded despite the Optimus Prime skin, because he had Overlord as his foil, and Black Zarek and Devil Z. Fortress Maximus had Scorponok, and Galvatron to a lesser extent. And Starsaber had Deathsaurus. Now, my YouTube name, Dezaras Prime, comes from that. Because Deathsaurus, that's the English version of the name. In Japan, it was Dezaras. Dezaras, I believe, or Deszaras. I can't remember the exact one, but basically the name Dezaras first went to a created wrestler on SmackDown vs. Raw, and I dropped the S, the first S. And then when I started YouTube, I went with Dezaras Prime. It's people know me as Dez now. It's kind of like a second name, and it all came from like I said, a hero is only as good as his villain, and Deathsaurus was fucking intense. He had these little fucking mannerisms, and he was the Decepticon. For a start, he wasn't the Decepticon leader. He was their Emperor of fucking Destruction. I added the fucking, even if you take that out, Emperor of Destruction. That is fucking immense already. He commanded the Breast Force. He was the leader of the Breast Force and the Decepticons. He had the fucking Dino Force with him, and he just looked intimidating. And like these little facial mannerisms, he'd have like this little smirk on his face from time to time. It'd just curl up in the corner. He looked creepy, and he looked menacing, and he looked nothing like this fucking bag of wank. One of my favourite scenes in Victory is the season finale when Starsaber and Dezaras have their final duel. It's on the Death Fortress, basically Dezaras' Death Star that he was trying to fucking release all season long. And that was another element. Dezaras was always trying to release this fortress from its prison that Starsaber had imprisoned. And when he came out, you needed the combined force of Victory Saber to fucking fly around and blow the fuck out of that thing. That's how much it took. It was like Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope when they all fly in, just without Luke use the Force, and there's all the fucking rebellion there getting killed and all that lot. This was Victory Saber on his own, two of them on their own, in the combined mode, just blowing the absolute fucking bastardry out of this fucking place. It was fucking epic. And there was a fight before that. The fight between Starsaber and Deathsaurus, the final battle, the conclusive, decisive match between these two nemeses that have been at it for so long. And I remember it because it looked like Dezaras had the upper hand, and then he lunges in And he goes in like bang, and then all of a sudden he starts to cough a little bit and grimace. And then the camera pans back, and out of his back you see Starsaber's saber blade. He jumped, he'd fucking launched in, got a bit too fucking cocky, just lunged in for the final kill. Starsaber, sword, impales him. It was great stuff. So at that point I was like thinking, well that's it, fucking Starsaber's dead. Then all of a sudden Dezaras gives that little and his face changes. And it pans back. Starsaber's fucking impaled him with his fucking sword. Now imagine that, if I've got MP Starsaber, imagine trying to recreate that scene with this twat. Don't fucking work, does it? I mean, he has got fucking ready-made saber blade holes through there, so you could just fucking, if you really wanted to, line it up nicely. Come here. Doesn't fit through, but yeah, it looks fucking bollocks. Starsaber dedicated himself, his entire cause, to protecting the Earth. I've done this quite a few times, I've said this a few times, that maybe Starsaber loved the Earth a little bit too much. I joke about it, about how he's a bit too heal the world when it comes to planet Earth. And, you know, I think when it comes to Earth, Starsaber's like Carly Rae Jepsen. I really, 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 really like you. And I want you. Do you want me? Do you want me? I'm gonna stop there. Hey, I just met you. Here's my number, call me maybe. It's a planet. It doesn't have hands, but then again, Primus is a planet. Anyway. So, to summarise that portion, Victor is a great show. I love it a lot. It's one of my favourite shows. Starsaber's like my second favourite behind only Optimus Prime, and that's by a narrow margin. The Masterpiece Starsaber was a holy grail. It was like, excuse me, never thought I'd own a Starsaber. Then the Masterpiece one was announced and I was like, getting that, want that, got it, well happy. Then Combiner Wars came out and you're thinking, well, will they do Liokaiser? Or will they not do Liokaiser or King Poseidon for that matter, or any of them? Because according to some, the Japanese Transformers are obscure and not well known and not as good as Optimus fucking Primal. Anyway, they did a Liokaiser. And as I've said before, countless times, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. This is that 1 out of 5. I never bothered with Skylinks. Combiner Wars. I've never liked Skylinks as a character. I have to talk about Skylinks because this is where this fucking bag of wank comes from. Don't look at me like that. Never liked Skylinks. He was, in my opinion, a piss poor replacement for Skyfire. I liked Skyfire. He had complexity from the start as Starscream's former mate, who then joins the Decepticons only to realise he's been misled. And then he gets buried in ice and everyone's like, oh, we won't forget you, Skyfire. We'll come back for you next week. But then Skyfire was phased out, Jetfire or whatever, probably because of the licensing bollocks, I don't know. But they replaced him with Skylinks, who was just so up his own fucking arse. I'm not surprised he's got a neck that long, the amount of times he fucking rims himself. And they made Dezaras out of it. See, I'm going to have to fucking pause and when it comes to transforming this thing, I'm going to have to fucking just stop, and I'll probably take a while because I really don't care for this figure that much. Dezaras, the Emperor of Destruction, who unleashed a giant fortress and had an epic fucking battle to end all battles with the greatest swordsman who ever lived, became a fucking Skylynx repaint. I mean, what even is this? He has no robot mode. He has his fucking weird-ass birdie mode and a fucking jet and a torso. No fucking robot mode. I said this before. If I get salty, if I go off on one, it's out of love for Victory and Liokaiser. The Victory series in general, and I think I've proven that. I've explained it well enough. I've articulated it well enough. Speaking of points of articulation, he's got his legs move. They go that way. Yeah, his head does yeah. I wish I could snap his neck, but it's meant to. And like I said, he doesn't fucking stand properly because his legs just collapse under the weight of its own fucking failure. I mean, I guess as a Skylynx it's fine. But Dezaras deserved better. Fucking Liokaiser deserved better. I'm going to poke my own fucking eye out if I'm not careful. And then I'll end up hating you even more, won't I? I said I'd try and be calm and relaxed about this. So yeah, let's have a look at him, shall we? Like I said, don't even fucking stand up, does he? Can't even fucking hold his own fucking arse in the air. I'd say the paint isn't bad, but it's not Dezaras paint. As Liokaiser's paint, it's okay. Head, don't. I don't even know where to fucking go with this, honestly. It's just... I'm going to transform it to jet mode. I think I got the shuttle mode down. Although, to be honest, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's fine for what it is. For a Skylynx shuttle mode, it's alright. But it ain't Dezaras, is it? Sorry. Fucking thrusters and all that bollocks at the back. It works for Skylynx. Doesn't work for Deathsaurus, and Dezaras doesn't work for Liokaiser. And that's where my main gripe comes with, as you can probably tell. I've been okay with the last 4 reviews, the last 4 figures I've reviewed. This just fucking triggers me. If you're gonna do Deathsaurus, do a good fucking Deathsaurus. If you're gonna fuck off Liokaiser, because I talked about fucking character arcs with some of them, like Skyhawk and Hellbat and Death Cobra. You know, Liokaiser was always like fucking the main fucking person, and he was always getting shit on by Dezaras, Deathsaurus. And yeah, he got shit on that much. He didn't even get a fucking toy. Should have been Liokaiser. And if it wasn't Liokaiser, if they were going to go with Dezaras, fucking do something good. Don't just repaint fucking the biggest Autobot twat in the history of Autobot twats and expect it to work. Anyway, let's get his torso done, shall we? Okay, so I've talked about how good the limbs are individually. I've talked about how shit Deathsaurus is. Let's look at Liokaiser, shall we? And here's the thing, it's not that bad. To be honest, I've got fucking Guy Hawk in his fucking super shredder leg mode there. Let's lift them up. Yeah, I definitely feel that makes it more uniform, I guess. The head mode is... it evokes Liokaiser, I guess. It's pretty decent. As a torso, it holds together well. Unlike his fucking... whatever the fuck that bird bastard thing is. The arms all look well enough nice, I guess. There's still that gap underneath there that, you know, can't be avoided. As a combiner, Wars combiner, I haven't really got many complaints with it. Other than it should have been fucking Leozak, not Deathsaurus. They should have used the Cyclonus Voyager as Leozak. They could have easily pulled it off if they were going to go the repaint route and then give Deathsaurus his own leader class toy. That would have been the best thing to do, I feel. But all in all, it isn't too shabby as a combiner. So I'll say 4 out of 5 ain't bad. I'll probably change that to 5 out of 6 ain't bad. Because Deathsaurus still really gets on my tits, that whole situation. I don't mind if they have Deathsaurus as the torso. Just make it a good Deathsaurus torso. I'll go with Leozak. You've got Cyclonus. That can be done. It's fucking... I'm not a customizer, but somebody... Mike did it. He painted it wrong, but he did it. It's just... given how much I love Victory, how close it is to my heart, I expected more from this. Well, I say that I expected more from it. I didn't buy it until this year, so that's how much I expected from it. I guess in a way, it's met my expectations. Certain areas have surpassed it. The colouring, the paint jobs on the limbs, just little things like the flip out ears and horns and shit like that. But Dezaras as the torso, as a Skylynx repaint, was always the thing that held me off buying it for so long. I got it on offer, and I was like, well, why not? Might as well, just so I can say I've got a Liokaiser. Let's mix up the limbs a little bit quickly. So we've got Hellbat and Iron Bison as the arms, Skyhawk and Drillhorn as the legs. Let's chop it around a bit. And then here we've got another configuration with Skyhawk and as the arm and Hellbat as the leg. Not too shabby. You get the gist, don't you? That you can chop and change. They look okay in either form. I'm going to quickly switch to my preferred configuration, and then we'll wrap it up there. Okay, so I had to put my phone on charge for a while, and then I went to pick my son up from school. So this is being done a few hours later, this final wrap-up part, because I had no battery earlier. I believe I was going to show you the final configuration. This is my preferred configuration for Liokaiser. I prefer having, when it comes to multiples of particular vehicles, for example tanks and jets, I prefer they either be both legs or both arms. I mean, it's fun to mix and match, I guess, but there's a certain kind of deformity that I try and avoid. These things also pin on, but I'm not entirely sure where. I've forgotten. Yeah, these pin onto the shoulders somewhere. I guess it depends where you want to put them. And the weapons, they all, they go in the various places. But yeah, for my preferred configuration, I have Hellbat and Skyhawk as the arms, Iron Bison and Drillhorn as the legs, and obviously that twat as the torso. So that's almost going to conclude my review of Combiner Wars Liokaiser. In closing, I do want to commend Hasbro for at least trying to put out an obscure Japanese-only Combiner that was only seen in 1989 in one series, or 1990, one of the two. Might have been both. Like, TV shows overlap years, don't they? But, the whole Deathsaurus part is a massive disappointment. Like I've said before, anything that I've had a rage on about has been because I love that series and these characters so much. That's why it gets on my tits. Should have been Leozak. They could have done a retool of Cyclonus. Or, Power of the Primes, they could have used that to fix it, considering they have Combiner limbs in that, and torsos. They could have easily used redone Starscream as Leozak, and they could have thrown in Jaruga and Death Cobra. Yes, I know my battery's dying again. Could have thrown in Jaruga and Death Cobra just to complete the set. Would have been nice to have all the limbs available with a decent torso. I mean, the Deathsaurus torso is fine, but it's still the Deathsaurus torso, not Leozak as the torso. And Deathsaurus' alternate modes are still shit. They are not Deathsaurus, they are basically repainted Skylings. But the toy does have its merits. Like I said, the Combine mode is stable, it's good. I like the Combine mode for the most part. The limbs, I mean, the two Brawl tanks, they grew on me while I was reviewing them, because I was actually able to study them properly. And as I was talking about them and going into detail, examining the detail, I found them that I really liked them. The paint schemes and that, the mould, still iffy, but the paint schemes and that, they really bring them to life. Same with Skyhawk. Skyhawk's a great fucking figure. He might be my favourite of the bunch. And Hellbat, too much grey, too much of the dull grey plastic, but still decent. And his jet mode, I like his jet mode. Skyhawk has a better robot and jet mode, I feel. But there is a lot to like about this set. What I don't like, I really don't like, but that's because of how much I like the series and the character in general. But yeah, there's still some good to come out of this. Like I said, 5 out of 6 ain't bad. And as a whole, it's not bad. It's just let down by the torso. And maybe Hellbat's paint applications, because they really went to town on the paint apps with the other 3 limbs. And they kind of like got to Hellbat and either ran out of paint or forgot. I don't know. But yeah, the limbs are great. The Combiner torso is decent. It's just the whole Deathsaurus being a Skylynx repaint thing really doesn't sit well with me. But having said that, I bought it on offer. It only cost me about 60 quid. It's worth it for that. I wouldn't pay any more for it. Not in this iteration. But still, I don't regret buying it because it's, I'd say, another piece to my Victory collection, but I don't have much in terms of Victory. I have, I guess, God Jinrai could count, obviously Star Saber. Now I have Liokaiser. Wheeljack? Or is that a cheat? I don't know, Perceptor. that's a cheat. But yeah, I don't regret buying it. I raged hard at Dezaras, but the rest of it, it's great. It is. And so yeah, would I recommend it? Probably, because no one else is probably going to be as fucking anal about the flaws as I am. So would I recommend it? Yes, it's a good toy. It's a good set. Personal opinion on Torso, you know that already. I've gone into enough detail about that. But other people might not have the same issues I have. They might not be hardcore Victory fans. They might not be Victory fans. They might just be like, oh, Combiner Wars, I need that for my collection. If so, by all means, pick it up. It's still a cracking set and a cracking toy. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about it. The issues I have with it are my issues. I don't really want that to take away from anything, because at the end of the day, I still went and bought it. And I still enjoy it. Most of it. I think that kind of wraps up my Liokaiser review. Next time, I'm going to be doing something. I'm not reviewing a Combiner team as such. I'm going to start going through the limbs that make up Optimus Maximus and then Optimus Prime. Try to break things up, not have all the teams bunched together, have something in between. So I'll throw in the leader class figures at some point. Don't have Megatron, but I've got Ultra Magnus and the 3 Seekers, which will be a co-review with Generations Jetfire, because that's what they're based on. So yeah, next up, I believe I'm doing Combiner Wars Prowl. So, until then, thank you very much for watching. If you like it, throw a like. If you got out to say, if you disagree with anything I've said, if you think I was too harsh on the toy, feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, all that good stuff. If you want to see more, subscribe. I will be doing more reviews and they will be staying on this channel. That's it. Thank you very much, and you shall see me next time.